Welcome to Tank Brick Studio. In this video, I will share in-depth details on how I sort and organize my parts. These are mostly parts from sets that I have broken down. There is a mix of new and used sets and parts. Please understand that my house is quite small, so I must work with space limitation here. You can take reference from this video how I compactly sort my parts and it works for me. If I had a larger space, I would have sorted the parts differently. To begin with, I use IKEA Billy bookcases as the main housing for my plastic drawers, because the dimensions fit perfectly into my space. Here are two Billy bookcases, which give me a total length of 160 centimeters. I also extended the top with 2 layers, making it 272 centimeters tall. Here's how the top extension looks on the IKEA website. With the dimensions of the Billy bookcases, I went online to find plastic drawers with dimensions that fit well and can maximize the space in these bookcases. Eventually, I found these plastic drawers. Each is 18 centimeters wide, 27 centimeters deep, and 10 centimeters tall. As you can see here, I can fit 4 drawers across and stack them up 5 layers on the shelves. The shelves are necessary to give it some support. After all, they are still plastic containers. Stacking too much weight on them can break them easily. So in total, I can fit 80 drawers in a Billy bookcase, not including the height extension. For the height extension, you can see the height is not so well optimized. I can only stack 3 layers and there is a wasted gap space at the top. Also, if we look at one end of the bookcase, there is a small gap by the side. In order not to waste the space, I found these plastic containers that can be slotted in neatly. I used the bookcase shelf support at the sides to support the one on top, so it doesn't directly rest on the bottom one. This allows me to conveniently take them out individually. I move on to plan my parts organization on my laptop using Microsoft Excel. So here is my Excel sheet. Each cell represents a drawer or container. For my home, this space is a shared function space. It acts as a balcony dining area as well, so to keep the space looking neat, I decided to sort my parts by color, which is also much easier to categorize for me. On this Excel, I can clearly see part colors and their categories. So, it will be easy for me to either sort out my parts, or easy for me to find the parts I need when building. I started off planning the categories for my gray parts as I have a lot more of them. I want to make sure all kinds of parts can be sorted into either one of these drawers. So, let's go through them one by one. This is almost the same categorization for black and white parts. But since I have less parts for them, I combine some to use less drawers. Example, for white, I do not have that much large plates, so in this case, I do not need an XL plate drawer like the grays. Moving on to the color, I group them into mainly 6 main colors: blue, red, green, yellow, tan and brown. For example, if we look in the blue drawer, it will contain a mix of the different variations of blue Lego has. The red will have more parts, since it has more variations of colors, from pink to purple. You can see the drawers are filling up. For these 4 colors, I have less parts, so I combine them into smaller categories, taking up 10 drawers each. The grays take up 20 drawers each. As we move down, we have the tan and brown. Generally, these colors will have more parts since they appear in sets a lot to build structures and environment. So these colors each have 14 drawers, categorized as you see here in Excel. For the other parts that can't be sorted by colors, I put them in drawers nearer to the bottom of the bookcase. This is so it will be less visible with the mix of colors that look like a mess. Here is how I sort the bottom drawers. Let's now take a look at the slim containers by the side. Because these containers have adjustable separators, it is very useful to keep small, detailed parts. Here is how I store and sort my minifigure parts. I also use these containers to store accessories, from weapons to food items, and from IT gadgets to printed tiles. Because these containers come with separators, I can further organize them. For example, I can organize the legs by colors, the hair by gender, and the food by type. Over time, I also started to source smaller containers that fit in the drawers as separators. For example, I use these to separate the type of detailed bricks within a drawer. Back to the top extension, these are really added much later, so the drawers are still not finalized. But in general, I have these sets of drawers on the left currently used for vehicle parts, like wheels, windscreen, wing or body. On the right side are more city structures like stairs, ladders, containers, lampposts. They are not fully optimized yet. I will share details in the future once I have finalized them. At the highest are stacks of plastic containers. I use these to store random or larger groups of parts. Such as this box is for animals. Here is a preview. I will create another video just to share my animal collection. Another box is for specialized parts for castle and pirates. These 2 boxes are for the yellowing parts. I prefer not to mix them into my drawers. I have various uses for them, again, we'll share more in another video. Finally, I want to share some pros and cons of the way I sorted my parts. Pros: it looks clean and neat at a glance because of the blocks of colors. It is also very easy to search for parts by colors. By checking the drawers by color and category, I can have a good idea of my inventory of parts before I even start on any project. Cons: overall, there are a few drawers which I am having difficulty with when searching for specific parts. The modified bricks and plates drawers. Because it has a mix of so many parts and so many different types, I often must pull out half of the drawer to finally find the part I need. It is the worst for black parts. It is giving me a little hassle, but I can live with it. For the red colored drawers, they get full very fast because of the wide variations of part colors in its spectrum. If I have more space, I would probably separate out the purple variations as a color by itself. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more LEGO hobby content. Do watch my other videos for more inspiration and references. See you again soon. Goodbye.